Beautiful people of great nation Nigeria, we are still on this morning on ITV, your station of choice. Now we are going to be looking at the topic, security challenges and citizens' participation. And we are having with me a public affair, a socio-political analyst, public affairs analyst, a journalist, Mr. Sharon Sham
Falia.
Falia.
Yes, sir.
You are most welcome.
It's my pleasure, sir.
It is our pleasure to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be on your show this morning.
And I will say to you, nationalism and you.
Nationalism and me, as a citizen of Nigeria, I have the duty and obligation to do all I can to help build my nation, because I have no any nation other than Nigeria. This is where I belong, and I must contribute my quota.
Thank you very much. That is the vivid message.
Yes, sir.
Now, the governor of Katsina State, Bello Masari, 2 days ago said, we created these security challenges. We must end it.
That's right.
Who will lead the front of citizen participation in ending this?
Well, the governor is right when he said we. When he said we, he literally means the citizens. We collectively created this monster of insecurity. And to your question, who should lead the battle in organizing the populace to confront these challenges? I can say clearly, like he said too, that the society elected leaders who are supposed to be organizers, mobilizers, they whom we have put in positions of trust should lead in the way by organizing the populace, by mobilizing us, and then, encouraging us to do what is needful. And that is if they who are in leadership positions also do the needful by deploying all the resources at their disposal. When the citizens see their leaders deploying all the resources put in trust in their hands to secure them, I can tell you that the populace, or rather the citizens, will find no difficulty in following their leaders to tackle these challenges.
What form of framework do you think should be put in place in order to galvanize the citizens' participation?
Well, first of all, there should be a development of trust between the leaders and the citizens. When there is an erosion of trust, for instance, the citizens keep hearing about billions of naira being given to states or to local governments, like I heard in your other guest said. Yes, in your earlier discussion, I watched it. When the citizens see that these resources are not being deployed to cater for their basic needs, there is an erosion of trust. So for any framework to be developed, first of all, this issue of trust between the led and the leaders has to be restored. And when that trust is restored, it will be very easy for the political leaders to develop any framework which the citizens will easily buy into. But for now, if there is no such trust, I'm afraid whatever framework you develop will be difficult. For example, there is this framework of civilian JTF in Borno. Do you know why it is working there? Because there is trust between the governor and the populace. The populace see what their governor is doing with the funds. He doesn't go about creating excuses blah, 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 when it is month end or what. We see infrastructure being built in Borno, the epicenter of insecurity in Nigeria. So you can easily see that each time the governor mobilizes the people to protect their domain, they quickly listen to him. They accede to his request. And you see that's why the citizens of Borno have no difficulty in sacrificing their lives to associate with the military.
Who should, let me reframe this question.
Okay.
Who should lead the front of creating this framework? Is it security forces leadership or political leadership?
The security forces leadership are answerable to the political leaders. Once the political leaders show the will, the security forces leaders who are at their beck and call will do the needful. But when the political leadership becomes lackadaisical, does not enforce accountability among the hierarchy of the security leadership, then definitely you have a very disorganized setup. And then, of course, definitely the political leadership have to lead the way in the pursuit of this issue you are talking about.
I am very happy that the current Chief of Army Staff, General Farouk, just confirmed, said, gun alone cannot end our security challenges.
Yes.
That is a tactical call, a strategic call for citizens' participation.
Yeah.
A strategic call for citizen participation.
Yeah.
So, with that at the back of our mind, how do we organize ourselves to generate this kind of confidence you are talking about so that there can be effective citizens' participation in averting and preventing these security challenges?
Of course, the Chief of Army Staff was right when he said gun, that is weapon of violence alone, cannot give us the security we need. While we cannot completely discountenance the use of such weapons of violence in enforcing security, the issue he is talking about is, like I said earlier, if there is trust in governance, when the people feel their needs are being met, when they see that their resources are not being pilfered, carted away, and stashed away in overseas, banks, and then they see even locally here estates being built by private individuals with public funds, then definitely the people will not feel that their needs are being catered for. And if they feel their needs are not being catered for, obviously they will resort to extra-legal means to survive. And there you have the root of violence. Resorting to extra-legal means here includes, resorting to kidnapping, some joining banditry. I'm not making excuses for them. But we need to eliminate these reasons that some of them give.
That is why we are discussing this, because already, just like that governor of Katsina said, we have created the problem. We understand the problem. We identify the problem, the challenges. We have paramount security challenges in our hand. It is always easy to point to security forces, like we were advocating. Change the security forces, change the service chiefs and the rest of it. Now they have been changed and things of that nature. But we have not taken a critical look at ourselves. In the spirit of nationalism, how do I participate in averting this? This is why this topic comes up. Now, taking this into consideration and knowing that peace building is a process, just like democracy is a process, and mechanism for conflict resolutions also, and things of that nature. bringing all those things to work, what role have we, the citizens, played in making, well, let me say, in aggravating our security challenges? What can you identify as the role of citizens in aggravating our security challenges, beyond those things that led to it in the first place?
Yeah, of course, we have aggravated the situation due to sometimes reasons of unnecessary sentiments, lack of cooperation with the security forces. For instance, when the security forces say, report what you see. If there are anomalies going on in your environment, report them to all the available organs of security near you. Some citizens don't do that. But if we do that, we should know that we are helping ourselves. If we refuse to report anomalies, strange faces we see in our locality, we need to organize. For instance, even if it's a street neighborhood, we need to organize, agree among ourselves. Look, we are seeing strange faces in this street, on this street. What can we do about them? Let us find out who these people are. What is their mission? If we cooperate in this manner, we can also help in solving this problem. But if we do not, then we are definitely aggravating it. And then the issue of sentiments, sometimes our political leaders or even religious leaders tend to divide us and, make us begin to blame one religion or the other, or blame one ethnic group or the other as the reason for our insecurity. Whereas those who are perpetrating this insecurity are cooperating among themselves up there, whoever they are. You find all manner of religions in there.
That bring me quickly to a reminder. The Arewa Consultative Forum,
yes,
is making a move to meet with Afenifere.
That's right.
Meet with Pandef and meet with Ohaneze Ndibo.
That's right.
Over the various agitations and the security concerns.
Yes.
How would you set agenda for them if you are in a position to set agenda for them?
Well, if I'm in a position to set an agenda for them, first of all, I will encourage that they go ahead with this move, because confidence building is important. When such regional groups or socio-cultural groups, as they are called in most places, agree to meet together, it is a good starting point. Because if there is no discussion, somebody said it is better to jojo than to war. So if they are agreeing to meet, number one, they are dousing the tension. So if I'm to set an agenda for them, I will say, let them go ahead and dispassionately look at the issues. What are these flashpoints? What are these problems? Where are the problems emanating from? And then what do we need to do collectively to solve this problem? And then if they agree and look at all these things without any sentiment attached, I'm sure they will arrive at a position whereby they can afford to even, give the government a joint position. But prior to this, they have all been, saying different things. But now that they have agreed to meet, I'm very hopeful that very soon they will have a common front. And if there is a common front, then I am rest assured that there's a solution.
The Holy Book says, the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yes.
So how we use our tongues
matters.
can contribute to building the peace of a nation.
Definitely.
And the rest of it.
Definitely.
What role? Some of these tongues, it is not only a spoken word any longer. The tongues has been domesticated into social media.
Yes.
What role do you think social media has played in adding to our security problem?
Definitely the social media has not helped matters. In fact, it's at the bottom of the reason why some governments, not only in Nigeria, even in the developed West, are looking at how they can handle the social media problem. Social media is not a problem per se, but the abuse of it and those who tend to abuse it appear to have dominated the space. They appear to have dominated the space. You see all manner of uncouth language being bandied.
So how do we control that?
How do we control that?
In the interest of national security.
In the interest of national security, definitely it has to be regulated. The use of social media has to be regulated. People need to come to the understanding that regulating the social media is not altogether about infringing on free
I was going
speech.
to ask you, will that not infringe on the freedom of... Because people say democracy allows for all of that.
It's a misunderstanding of the concept of democracy. When people say democracy guarantees freedom of this, they should understand that freedom is not absolute. Freedom is not absolute. The reason why in democracy we even elect governments is because we elect governments to regulate us. We recognize the essence of government in regulating our conduct, in regulating our affairs. That is the meaning of governance. Governance means to govern, to control. Control means to regulate. So if we talk of democracy, and we say it guarantees freedom, we should bear in mind that this freedom is not absolute, because government is there to help regulate ourselves. It's like parents in the house. The children cannot say, I have absolute freedom in the house. No, the parents will remind the children, look, we are here. We are your parents. We must regulate you. There is always a limit. Regulating the social media is not an infringement of any freedom of speech. Rather, it is to moderate your speech, to refine your speech, to make what you speak out edible, to create a peaceful atmosphere in the society. When you allow all manner of utterances on social media, unregulated like that, that is why you've seen the current tension we are having. Somebody will go on Twitter and say any soldier or police that comes to so place will not go back alive. Tell me how that is freedom of speech. Using your speech to call for death on law enforcement officers who signed, sacrificed their lives to protect the nation, and you are, calling for...
but they will tell you that they are just talking.
No.
We just talk.
It's not just talk. Like you just said, it's the Bible, the holy book, that said it, that the power of life and death lies in the tongue. So words, when spoken, can galvanize, can stir up emotions. You have fanatical followers who look at you as next to God. In fact, in some places, they look at you even as more than God, whatever. So when you speak, when you speak such weighty words, these people feel charged. They feel energized. Our Oga has spoken. Nothing will happen. They feel energized. They believe so much in you. So that is why leadership comes with responsibility. If you are in such a position, you should be able to watch your words. Not watching your words will create this situation we have now, and then, of course, look at the consequence. People are some are hiding in their ceilings, some are, doing this, running helter-skelter because of the words spoken by one man somewhere, hiding somewhere, safely enjoying himself, just using social media to push you to destruction. While you are in hell now, where is he? Comfortably seated somewhere enjoying himself. Definitely it has to be regulated, sir.
If we are able, many good Nigerians many good Nigerians have started speaking to the heart of Nigeria. And I said they are speaking to the heart of Nigeria according to the program of this ITV. You know, we are certainly the best.
Definitely.
You know, they are speaking to the heart of Nigeria by saying that, for example, Obasanjo used a very odd language. He said the people calling for secessionists, for secession of the country, dismemberment of the country, he said they are being idiotic.
You know, he's blunt.
And the rest of it. I said that was too harsh. Now, Ohaneze Ndibo have also spoken to their own youth and the rest of it and said, look, we belong to one Nigeria and things of that nature. The other day, the political leadership of the Southwest, led by Asiwaju and the governors, they also met in Marina and they declared for the unity of Nigeria. And now RAY is making this move and things of that nature. These are confidence-building moves. With this confidence building being built up, how convinced are you that we can properly galvanize the citizen to defeat this terror?
Definitely, when leaders of thought of all the regions are now galvanizing their local troops, coming together to make such utterances, I am more than convinced now that we are getting towards the right direction. We are going to succeed. Because hither though, like I said earlier, everybody was on their own. You know, there was no coordination of such. But when they saw that the threat was real, they began to coalesce together. And then they began to discuss how they can meet with their counterparts elsewhere. And then, of course, these people are well respected in their various regions, some of them jointly, nationally. So when we see national leaders like this coming together to talk, then definitely tension is being doused. Tension is being doused. I can only say that when they meet, they should jointly, forcefully condemn all these rascals in their various regions. We have them in Arewa, we have them in the east, we have them in the southwest. They should join.
We don't have to call them rascals because they are challenged.
Well,
if a bee perched on your testacle and you decided to want to kill it the way and that is what those boys are doing and the rest of it.
Definitely.
So it may be a product of ignorance, but we cannot rule out that they actually have a genuine case and the rest of it. And, but what role do you think? We have governors forum, and I have not seen them. I have seen them on a talk show, but I have not seen them ardently marshalling out a route to galvanize citizen participation to defeat these security challenges. What role do you think they have to play?
That's the problem of governance we've been talking about. If they can be honest, if they can be sincere. I know some of them are actually using this issue of insecurity, you know, for propaganda purposes, to use it as an excuse not to deliver the dividends of democracy, infrastructure, you know, economic development plans here and there. But then I will call on them, these governors. They have so much power. If you look at the 1999 Constitution, which you and the former guests were talking about, the governors are even more powerful than the president. They are very powerful. If they can deploy the power at their disposal and be honest to Nigerians and frontally lead in confronting these issues you mentioned, I can tell you that definitely with the cooperation of all these regional socio-cultural groups you mentioned earlier, with their cooperation, this issue will not entirely go away, but I can assure you that by 90%, this issue will go away. The governors need to be honest and forceful in tackling this issue. They shouldn't use it Like some of them are using it.
But many of them appear to be so helpless. They said the governors don't control security forces, they don't control army, they don't control police, so they are helpless. So they decided to sit and be watching the security.
Then I'm looking for one of them who will come out today and address the media and say, I have stopped collecting security votes. Definitely. We've been hearing them, some of them labeling, making such excuses. The police, the DSS, the soldiers are not under my control. I have no influence over them, blah, 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 blah. And then the security votes each of them collects per month is more than the budget for Ministry of Education in their state. Money that should have gone in educating children, feeding them, clothing them. When you see some of the schools whereby all these school children were abducted, when you see the pictures of those schools, you begin to wonder when last was a brush of paint laid on their walls.
And actually, what prompted this discourse today is because of the targeted schools.
Yeah.
Schools are now being targeted.
Yeah.
And one can only imagine the trauma on these children when you took them into the forest in the presence of bazookas and the rest of it, and sometimes you even engage security forces. They will have to lie prostrate while security forces are engaging and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Is it actually possible for us to organize ourselves as citizens in order to mount garrison of citizens to defend and protect these schools? Because the alternative to that is to close the schools because of the agony.
Yeah.
This is envisaged. What do we do? How the way forward for that?
And it will be a very terrible decision if all our schools are closed down. Because the bedrock of any development is education. Education is fundamental. Knowledge. God said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is key. So if we give in to insurgents, to all manner of violent groups, and close our schools, then definitely they have triumphed. Now, we cannot allow that. But like you said, it is possible for us as citizens to organize what can be called watchtowers, watch groups, mobilize locally, arm ourselves with whatever we can, and then if possible, we can place some vigilante people hidden at strategic.
Is it your state or today, your state or this is yesterday, or your state or Ondo state invited the traditional worshippers to say, we will need you people to come and help us to fight
Oh yes, if the two major religions imported into Africa are proven to be, to a large extent, the problem to our peaceful coexistence, definitely it will reach a point whereby such, definitely, they will begin to think of these traditional worshippers. We have not seen them coming on radio or TV or on pages of newspapers attacking each other. And they have always been talking, give us the privilege. We have the solution to this. Of course, he is right to say, come.
What role do the traditional rulers have to play in these organizations of citizens' participation?
The traditional rulers have a role to play. But first
in those days, we used to call them native authority.
Native authority. That was when the Constitution, the olden days Constitution, recognized them, gave them power, gave them authority, real authority over their locality. But now, under the present Constitution, the traditional ruler cannot travel out of his locality without the permission of the local government chairman. And not just ordinary, not just small traditional rulers, even the first-class emir in a state, or the first-class oba, or first-class obi, cannot travel outside his village without the permission of the local government. So you can see how their influence has been whittled. So if the law can give them such power, they can organize locally, assemble security, people who will help in protecting their locality. But right now they are being hampered. If they organize something strong and something happens, some politicians could use it to victimize them. So the law
necessity, they said, is the mother of invention.
That's true.
And as we have it today, as a result of all these dislocations in governance, we are having so much ungoverned areas in Nigeria today. Our population have grown.
Yes.
We are having so much ungoverned area. The traditional ruler, the local government, what, in your opinion, do you consider necessary in order to add value to what role they can play to arrest this? Because they should be part of citizen participation.
Definitely, they should.
Or probably lead the way.
They should. They should be.
How do you think that should take off?
And of course, your earlier guest mentioned something while I was watching a reception. He made reference, I think it was you or he who made reference to what the president said, was it last week, about money being given to
governors and the local.
You see, during those times, happily enough, that time you mentioned when traditional rulers were powerful, it coincided with that time also when local governments had real autonomy. You see, money given to local governments were used then. It was felt. The local government chairman had funds to organize, both at all the wards under his council. The money would trickle down. The traditional rulers were catered for under that budget. There was money for them to organize. But now with a system whereby the local government chairman is just called to the state capital to sign a document saying he has received so amount, whereas he was just given maybe just 10% of the money to just take care of salaries of local government workers with nothing else going on at the local level by way of infrastructure, by way of economic activities that could boost the local economy, then definitely something is wrong. Like you said, the small hamlets we see around will become ungoverned, and there are many. And when there are such many ungoverned places, then definitely everybody will be on your own. And then when everybody is on your own, then definitely they resort to self-help. And self-help could mean doing whatever they can to survive. And mostly it is crime. So definitely this issue you discussed earlier has to be effectively tackled. Let these local governments have the real autonomy they deserve. Let their money be given to them directly, and let us hold them accountable. It used to be better then than now because of proper funding.
Some youth recently blocked the airport road and they were chanting, Buhari must go, Buhari must go. Did you see it?
I saw it.
What is your take?
My take is people who lose elections should learn to accept defeat graciously.
You think it is all about election because they are complaining about the security challenges are not being appropriately tamed and things of that nature?
We have security challenges everywhere. I'm not making excuse for government, neither am I making excuse for anybody, but these security challenges are universal. For instance, a report just came out a couple of days ago on CNN. I watched it about, even yesterday they updated it. They had 300 mass shootings in the United States in the last few weeks. 300 mass shootings. But what we see is We've not seen people marching on the streets with placards saying Biden must go. Or when it all started, when Trump was in power, saying Trump must go. There are election cycles. Security challenges are there as part of, many other challenges nations face. But what we need to do is let us join hands with the government and say, look, we are here for you. What do you think we can do to help stop this problem? Instead of somebody sponsoring you with placards because they lost elections, you go and block the airport road, causing another insecurity. Because when you burn tires, you block the road. Probably somebody is on an emergency to hospital, and because you block the road, they cannot pass. It means you have made their life insecure. So you have contributed to the insecurity. Such is not the solution. Solution is in active participation. What can we do to help this situation? We appreciate the challenges you are facing. We know the story of how you came in, what was on ground. We appreciate what you have done so far. But now, what can we do? Help us to cooperate with you. That should be the language. Help us to cooperate with you so that we can tackle this problem.
We started from somewhere, nationalism and you.
Yes.
Now, in the spirit of nationalism and you, most of the time when we talk about nationalism, people quickly revert back to when our founding fathers were fighting for the independence of our respective countries and the rest. Yes. Now we have gotten that self-determination. We have gotten that independence. We have gotten our country. And our country is a super country in the continent of Africa.
Yes.
And the rest of it. Many African countries see Nigeria as the bulwark of liberty for them and things of that nature. Right now, what should nationalism mean to the citizens?
What nationalism should mean to the citizen is pure and simple. Love your nation. Devote your entire self to creating situations that will make your nation better. Be nationalistic. Forget about sentiments. This is where I came from, or this is my faith, this is my what. No, your focus should be Nigeria. We had Nigerians who were...
If you have any other message, give it to the Nigerian people.
Give it to the Nigerian people, yeah.
What is your final word to Nigerians?
My final word to Nigerians is, let us love one another, let us cooperate with the authorities, let us be sincere in our dealings, and then I can assure you Nigeria will be great.
Thank you very much, and you are most welcome, Mr. Sham. And let me say this. We hope you will avail us your experiences when we call upon you sometimes to come, because we will always be here.
I'm always available for national service like this. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Nationalism and you. But don't go away. We are still here on ITV, our program. There is This Morning on ITV coming to an end, but ITV is on. Your programs in their various segments and menu. Thank you very much.